Hello, everybody. I believe we're live. I'm here today with my dear friend, Joan Hartinger, who is otherwise known as Joan of Angels, and she really is. I have known her for a long time. She has been sharing some beautiful art and some transmissions and activations that are profound. She actually sent me a picture that she created of me that really captured the essence of what I do. And I know she does that for so many. And I was blown away because I just saw it today for the first time. But before I get into more of your bio, I just want to thank you so much for being with me today.
Are you kidding, Laura? This is so exciting to be with you. I've been looking forward to it.
How many times have we run into each other at conferences and we spend a little bit of quality time together? And there's just so much to talk about. We've both witnessed each other just evolving over the years. You've witnessed me going through quite a lot of stuff, and you've always been an embodied angel just as a friend, let alone what you've really put out there and what you've been embodying through your art, and just your website is really profound. You've been also co-creating and working with Portal to Ascension with Neil Gar. And I've been doing webinars and conferences with him for a while. And you guys are traveling together right now, right? And you're the hardest working people I know. It's incredible. So we'll get into all that. I'm going to read a little bit of your bio, and then maybe we could just touch upon your story and just how you got to this level of really embodying this. So let me just share a few words. The longer bio will be in the description. And when you kind of walk us through your journey a little bit, give us the more extended version, anything that I didn't mention in your bio that you feel is really important to share with people. So let me just share that she's not just Dr. Joan of Angels, she's Reverend Dr. Joan of Angels, Reverend of Interfaith. She has a Reverend Interfaith Spiritual Center worldwide, founder of the Miracle Makers Club. She's an international best-selling author, talk show host, visionary artist, spiritual leader, and doctor of chiropractic. And that is one amazing healing modality to understand. I mean, there's nothing like it to adjust people on that level. So, I mean, this is huge. So I'm going to put this in the description, but her website, just for anybody who wants to kind of follow along, is www.joanofangels.com. And one line that I love that you share is raise your vibrational frequency and book a soul awakening session here to awaken, activate, and step into your fullest potential. It's not just a quote. It's actually kind of a tagline, or the way she introduces her work, because you work still with people one-on-one, right?
I do. I work with people one-on-one. I help them remember who they are. And the funniest part about it, Laura, is I've been doing this my entire life. Like, I'm listening to you read my bio, and I went, oh yeah, I'm still doing that. I'm still helping people wake up to who they are, because, it's easy to fall asleep the day you arrive, and that's what we're here to do.
So take us into the beginning then, and when this mission began to hit you, and how you became just more maybe grounded or sort of accessible on a public level.
That's such a great question. First of all, you should know that I was always very shy. I hid in the closet when I was young, and I ran away by the age of 3. So my go-to has been to hide. And so it's been a lifetime of really letting myself get out of the closet and reach out into the world. But I'm an empath, I'm an intuitive, I'm a Pisces, and I always was very, very sensitive, always was aware of, I didn't know they were angels. I just knew that they were these friends that were in the paintings we had that would occasionally talk to me. And so I grew up, but I would hear voices, I would hear my guides, but I was very, very shy. In fact, I was so shy. I remember my mom and my brother told me once to never be an artist, because I wasn't good enough to be an artist. I should only be a bookkeeper. So the fact that I'm Joan of Angels and I'm really reaching into the interdimensional realms is quite profound, considering where I came from. So I woke up slowly. But when I was in my 20s, I was really told to go to chiropractic school by my guides. I went to a seminar, which I do with my life, and I literally heard a voice that said, Joan, go to chiropractic school. So I did enroll, did go to chiropractic school. I learned that the art of healing from the inside out is one of the most profound experiences and gifts. And if we could all go back to learning how to heal from the inside out, that would be a huge miracle for the planet. So that was my first awakening when I realized that everything I knew, traditional medicine, was not true. Let's put it that way. Second parts of my awakening, because I've woken up really slowly, Laura. It was a hard awakening. But in 2013, I had lost everything for a second time, and I just was begging my guides for help. And I heard a voice. It was Halloween, so it was my anniversary actually, in 2013, Halloween Eve, and I heard a voice that said, paint 33 angels in 30 days. Now, I have been hearing my guides forever, but that was a lot. And I said, I wanted a different answer. I wanted them to have an instant manifestation of it. And they said, paint 33 angels in 30 days. And I said, well, I don't do eyes, I don't do faces. So they said it again. And then it was like, well, that's a lot of work. I was doing oils then. Oils smell, And the next time they said it, I knew I was to say yes. And once I said yes, it launched me into really about a 7 or 8 year experience where I was told to move to the desert so I could hear. I was basically alone in the desert for 7 years, and I painted angels, and that's where I was named Joan of Angels. And so, yes.
It was just around Joshua Tree, because when
Yes.
the contact in the okay, keep going. I remember.
Yes, it was around Joshua Tree, and I actually remember when I saw you up there that time. That was also, every encounter with you, by the way, is memorable. But yeah, it was up near Joshua Tree, and of course, because it's so connected to the interdimensional realms up there, I began to see many angels and also encountered really more of a deep dive with extraterrestrials. So my life in the desert was about, so really honestly, it was really about stepping into Joan of Angels. It's one thing to take a name and to have an idea of who you are, but embracing your whole soul mission, Laura, and one that says Joan of Angels. And so embracing your soul mission has become my life's work, really, because I realize people are sent down here with a whole list of things to do, but you can forget the moment you get here. And so I have a dedication to waking people up.
Well, I can't help but just notice when one thinks of Joan of Arc, and then one thinks of archangels, Joan of Angels.
Well, of course.
I mean, so that many angels to paint, when you thought that path might be easier, were you noticing that what you came up with and what sort of transpired through you, what you manifested, was in alignment with things that have been told before? I mean, because sometimes what we've been told is not necessarily the truth. So did you bring in something that felt so authentic, as far as, okay, this is what's coming in, you're not really referring to anything outside of you? And did you look to see, okay, is anything in agreement with it? Or have you been able to maintain a strong level of, trust in yourself? Because I think those pure, direct connections, sometimes that are not interfered with, can say a lot. But sometimes when we refer to things, as long as it matches a frequency of our own inner knowingness, maybe the two go hand in hand. I mean, what was that like to bring in so many and to feel maybe this responsibility or this mission placed upon you without maybe being able to take the easy route? What was it like to process all that, I guess, is the...
So I've never taken the easy route, just to let you know. And when I was 30, right after I heard this voice, I went to a visioning workshop, and I went into a vision, and I found myself in the Colosseum, a gorgeous angel, huge, gorgeous dressed angel behind me, and I was dressed as an angel in front of her, and millions of people are crossing our path, Laura. They're dropping their crutches, they're dropping their wheelchairs, they're crawling, and then they're standing, okay? And I was told in that moment that I'm here to heal and inspire millions of people. Now, this is a girl who was shy and hiding in a closet half her life, but I'm here to do that. And so from that moment on, even practicing as a chiropractor, I'd want to adjust 1 in 50, 1 in 100. It was like so slow, like one at a time. And in a sense, my whole mission has been to reach as many people as I can, because I know that my job is to help raise their vibration and help you remember, like, your magnificence. Remember that you are here to not get lost, but to be part of this great awakening. And that's my excitement. I've been doing this for a long time because I love people. I wake up out of bed. So now I'm aligned with Neil, right? I wake up out of bed even more excited because through Portal to Ascension, I get to reach more people and touch more people's lives and help awaken them to that magnificent. So I have a mission to turn up your light, raise your vibration, and help you see your soul essence. So you anchor it in.
Yeah, I mean, I've done Portal to Ascension events for quite some time. When you entered the mix, there was just an energetic that was brought to all of it that just was really huge. And just knowing you over the years, I mean, the fact that you have a background in being a chiropractor, but then you bring in this greater medicine, you're not limited to just that one modality, right? You go into the multidimensional, you go into the spiritual. What was it like with other colleagues or people that were used to you as maybe just a chiropractor when they saw you expand into the more angelic realms?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I have to tell you that my daughter was appalled. Okay. We went out one day in Santa Monica and I was confused. You know, it was a new name. And by the way, you're right. I'm very aligned with Joan of Arc. I thought she was going to say Joan of Arc when she announced I was Joan of Angels. And sometimes I am definitely channeling Joan of Archangel. But anyway, so
yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Yeah.
yeah, I'm channeling her a lot, especially in this war for humanity, you know, in this breakthrough for freedom and uplifting of humanity. That's what Joan of Arc really stood for. And it's a beautiful time for me. But it was very confusing because, so first of all, when I put the paintings up on a wall, this book fell off the bookshelf that said, "Your call for angelic assistance has been heard." Could not believe it. You know how, I shouldn't even say that. Of course I believe it. There it was. And then a few days later, it was like, to be one of the chosen ones, you must choose. You know, and I quote this a lot at Portal to Ascension on all the webinars because it's true. But they were speaking directly to me, and I started to feel people's wings. Okay. Now, my work as a chiropractor, you know, you work with the shoulder blade, your scapular. There's another word for it, wings. So when you start to feel your wings, literally your scapula, you start to feel the presence of your team behind you. So I know you're going to feel it as I talk about it right now. You can actually start to clean out your wings, clear them off, get rid of all that grunge from those lifetimes where we were persecuted, you know, and start to really feel. And so I have had direct experience. I've had direct experience of this, and I do teach people that as well.
That's so huge, Joan. And you've written books. I mean, you have not just provided counsel and healing sessions, bridging from the chiropractic to awakening the angelic lines, the energy of being an angel, and how that relates to how, you know, you talk about the scapula and clearing it. I mean, that's so pioneering and huge because, as we talked about, not a lot of people, maybe in your profession, when you were first a chiropractor, resonated with it. And you mentioned that your daughter, did you say, was appalled? But then you come out with Make Your Life a Miracle. You've got books on Amazon.
Right.
And you talk about what happened to you in 1999. Would you want to go into that at all? Or I don't want to go and I mean, when I'm looking at your website, everybody, you got to like check it out, joanofangels.com. I mean, look at it while I talk to you about it and go to the About Me page. So you have Make Your Life a Miracle, and then I'm looking at all these other ones, but I don't want to jump too much ahead and take this bit by bit. I'd love to interview you more, of course, but I mean, when the book started to come out and what you talk about in that one about something regarding what took place in 1999. Do you want to get into that a little bit?
Well, only as much as to say the following. I've lost everything twice. In fact, when I speak, sometimes I just joke about it. You know, I lost everything before it was fashionable to lose everything. I went homeless in my
That's hilarious.
Okay, I went homeless in my Land Rover. Okay, and it's not funny. It's very, very traumatic.
No, I know. I've been homeless a lot before. Yeah, I don't know, but Go ahead. Yeah.
and with 2 kids, so you can imagine. But here's what happened,
Wow, me
Laura,
too. 2 kids. Wow. We need to talk more.
right?
I'll be quiet. Yeah. Yeah.
We do need to talk. This is a long time coming. Okay, so we lost everything. We lost our gorgeous house. We lost our car. We went running to my sister's, and I was devastated. And so what I knew, though, as all those years as a chiropractor, was I used to teach people how to not even positive thinking, but manifesting, how to turn your dreams into reality, and masterminding. And so here I had no one to mastermind with anymore, but I had my 2 kids. I had my 10-year-old daughter and my 8-year-old son. So we sat down one night in a circle, and I can't stop crying. Okay, I left an abusive man, a creep, who almost killed me and my kids. So it wasn't as if things were, great. And so I sat down with my kids knowing that I had to get back to masterminding, that if I could only get into a higher vibrational frequency, all would be well. And I actually believed this. And so I sat down with my 2 kids, Alana and Anton, and we started holding hands. I didn't know they knew how to chant, but they did. We started doing the Om chant, and we start doing visualization. So we start talking about what it is we wanted to see in our life. My kids were very simple. They wanted a house with a basketball court and a pool. My son wanted to go to sports around the world. I wanted to recover. And my daughter says one night, and this was quite a period of time. And my daughter says to us one night, we're holding hands. She says, Mommy, when we recover financially and we get the house with the pool, because my kids believed in me, She said, and I'm going to cry when I say it, can we go around the world and teach people how to have miracles in their life so they don't have to suffer like we did? Now, granted, this is the same daughter who was appalled at her mom's
That is so huge. So you're not just Joan of Angel, you birth angels. Oh, sorry, you guys, my camera's off. So keep going. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we made that vow that we would go around the world helping people and their families and teaching them how they can mastermind and how they can change their life and live their dreams. And they were 8 and 10. And when I did, I won a major lawsuit against a major insurance company. So I'm actually known in the field, having taken down, I guess, a big insurance company, Union Provident. I won a $5 million punitive damage award. It was quite rigorous. I never talk about this online because it was
in your books. I mean,
it is in my book, but I was embarrassed, Laura. Somehow I was writing books on miracles, and I was embarrassed that I had won a lawsuit to now get my millions. Okay, and I swear I think
which is a miracle. But anyway, keep going. Yeah,
right, and it is a miracle because I used to sit there with the kids visualizing that we'd get $1 million from this lawsuit because I was destitute. I had nothing. And they were coming at me, trying to get me to take 50,000, 100, and I had nothing, and they knew I had nothing, and I learned a lot going to court against a major corporation like that. It was huge. So guys, you could look it up under Joan Hangarter. It is a valid case. We changed case law, so it's part of my mission, Laura, is to help people around the planet. That case changed what they call case law for hundreds of thousands of people in this country so they could get their benefits, because the insurance companies would had policies to terminate your benefits. We know what they're about. Anyway, that led me to who I am now. I will tell you the following. When I started painting those angels, and they started really hooking me up to connection, and then my guides started piece by piece teaching me and sending me places and showing me what I'm about. And I began painting, and I began channeling these energies. And they said to me, that, we want you to paint these angels so that people can see what we look like. Because when they have a representation of what they look like, then you're going to have their energy in your home. They'll stabilize you. You won't forget that they exist, and you'll have that direct connection. So that became my life was the art. And I know you know Tricia McCannon. So I think one of the contacts, she stayed at my house for 2 weeks after contact, right? She walks in the house. I open the door. She's out there with all of her luggage. She's Southern Belle. And she walks in and she's such a big person. Joni. Then she says,
Both of you together. Oh my gosh.
she said, do you know Krishna's in the house?
Oh.
And she starts going around. She says, oh my God, Joni, Krishna's in the house. Jesus is in the house. They are all in the house. And then she stayed with me for a while, and we ended up painting together, which was our past life memory of times we were in the temples together.
No way.
Yeah. Oh, so powerful to paint with Trisha McCannon.
Right. Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. I mean, I've known you for years, and always am grateful for any moment to get to know you better, like right now. And yeah, Trisha McKenna and her books. And yeah, a lot around like Contact in the Desert or some of the events.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, there would be like everything all at the same time at the same place, but it's hard to capture it if you don't have that sort of after gathering or that one-on-one time, right? So that quality time that you spent with her both doing art together. Okay, so on your website, I mean, there's multiple books, right? Like you're a very tear-jerking interview. I'm trying to hold it together. Like I'm not going to burst into tears, but I mean, even just tear-jerking, right? Not like tears are a jerk, even though like when you're standing in line and like you're trying to hold it together, it's like, and then it doesn't mean that the tears are jerks, but no, tear jerking. Like,
what? Yeah.
No, I remember a gathering where we were all in the same place, and I remember something happening at that Joshua Tree location, and I think I heard about it. The timing wasn't right for me to be a part of it. That's beside the point. But your mutual art creations, do you have that recorded anywhere that people can see it, or is that very personal?
So the art, I was hacked a few years ago, and I ended up taking down a lot of the art, but it's starting to come back. And I have new art now. And this art I'm doing is really interdimensional, interportal, and it's all about our life and the other dimensions. And
yeah,
right?
Well, you showed me some of it, and I have to say I'm not able to do share screen because I had water damage on my computer. If I make you a co-host, are there any pictures you want to share?
Oh my God, yes.
Okay. So you can share, but I didn't mean to cut you off. So you're talking about go back, two different things as far as your art. So go back, and then if you want to share anything, you have share screen ability.
Okay. Yes, because so I've been going through a complete activation. I can tell you that I wasn't, 2013, it wasn't that I was a full-fledged angel in 2013. I've been an angel in training. Okay, that's the best I could say. Angel in training, a lot of experiences, a lot of shyness, really breaking free. And I'll tell you, my turning point moment, Laura, was about July of 2020 when the pandemic hit, and I was not sure which way to go. Was I falling apart? I'm watching everyone around me having a panic attack. Meanwhile, I know the truth about what is going on. And I heard this voice, and that said, Joan, you're Joan of Angels, you've been adapting to it, but you're here for a reason. And if you don't do what you've come here to do, which is to help lift humanity so we can all connect with our angelic selves, so we can actually raise the vibration here. If you're not willing to do that, then we'll just find someone else. And thus I really learned a big lesson for all of us, is that we all come here for a mission, and if we say yes, they give us more. And then our life takes a whole new turn, a whole new meaning, which gives you more work, as Laura might say, but we're here to serve. In essence, we are here to serve humanity. That's why Laura does what she does. So I had put away my art for a while because not to mention it, part of me was shy about the art. I was self-trained, and I had a few professionals who kind of mortified me. I felt embarrassed that I was self-trained. So I had put away the art for a while, and then the last few months when I've been up here in Mount Shasta, I've had another activation, and this particular activation has helped me tune in to other dimensions. And these other dimensional frequencies are allowing me to really be guided, to connect, and to understand now my new soul mission. It's not even a new soul mission, but how my soul mission of helping you remember. The guide said, I need to start doing paintings that will show you who you really are so you can anchor them in. And so this is one of the first ones I started. This is a dear friend of mine, Nicole. And in the end, so if you look at this, I think you can see it. You'll start to see evolutions of the different soul aspects. That my dear friend Nicole has a soul mission. And so the way we started, this is the way I work now, we do a soul awakening session. And in that session, we connect with why you're here, with the goddess, the angelic ones, the star beings who are overseeing you and who are the ones inspiring you. So we connect with them, and I do a reading about it, and then I go into my own meditation after the session, and a few pieces will start to come forward. Now, I did this with Neil, and these are the funny ones. Neil has many aspects. So this was the one in the end I decided upon, the 5 heads, okay, because Neil is now about to probably do a little movie for us, a little spiff.
And he's like major multitasker. It's like, how many Neils are there to be able to do what he does, right?
Right. So this morning
I was the multi-dimensional angelic realm. So it's like, yeah. Anyway, keep going.
Right, but who so when I start, I didn't know 5 heads are going to show up. This is working with digital art. I'm in a trance. I'm connected to Neil's guides and my guides, and they start to show soul aspects. And that's another aspect of him. He's a showman, and then the very, very sacred part. So what I do is I send you the art, but then I also send you a painting. A real painting.
Look at the way it changes. Oh my God.
Right?
That is incredible.
Right.
And you had one in me. I don't know if you put them up. I had to run to the...
Of course, I did not show them while you were here. Not here.
No. Let's not go there. Let's continue with this. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything.
No,
this
you didn't.
Is so wild. Look at all this.
He's going to put this on his album. His next,
this
one nice.
We're
not going to show. Let's skip by this
Remind us of who that... Oh, look at that.
Now this
wow.
is me. This is me in ancient Egypt. I should tell everyone we're doing.
Oh my gosh.
We're doing a tour in ancient Egypt next year, and look at this. So I don't know if you can see this, but different soul aspects coming through. So imagine if you had this kind of painting of yourself. Okay, it would be very hard to have doubts and fears about your own life.
Right. Well, if you do, all you got to do is put these pictures on. You'd be like, oh my God.
Right. Now I want to show the ones of you. Let me find them.
No. Let's not do that. I didn't even mean to. I just had to run to the, I don't want to call it right. Yeah. But
well, actually,
it's funny when you talk about that, the minute one goes there, and I think we all do on occasion, when you see images like this, I really feel it brings one back to center, which it must do with you with all those Egyptian pictures. Oh, that's interesting. I wasn't in China too long ago, and I have a huge affinity with it, but we didn't even have to go there with me. And I didn't mean to bring it up like we should, but.
Well, I don't want to, if you don't want me to show the art,
I mean, go ahead, but I really enjoyed just seeing you and Neil. I had to run
to those two. You'll see more.
We call it the lavatory or the loo or the restroom. I'm sorry, too much information, but.
Okay, I want you to know.
So you must have portfolios, which you're showing. So
I'm showing portfolios. Yes, these have just started to come through. And when I was working on your art, this one came through, and it was like you have such a sweet soul essence underneath your warrior. That and this is not you, but this one actually was using your photo as a base in the painting. And then I do really, because these are so lovely. Now, they're not supposed to look exactly like you, but you can feel her beauty. So, and this one made me laugh. I felt this was like one of your very big creative sides as that one went through. This is really your galactic came through. So when I do this, I actually will then bring in a message. This, I think, is really how profound you are sometimes out in the world, Laura. taking on so much, the goddess, empress.
Well, that's interesting. Well, I mean, let's go back to the ones you were showing of, oh, that's wild. Wow.
Right? You like
A whole
it?
nother level of your art too, because I mean, you must in the area that you've been. I mean, I don't know if you've left the Joshua Tree Desert area where you were for a while, but at this point you must be doing gallery shows or
So
you soon will. I'm not one to predict or put those projections on a person, but your art and your craft and what you do in the service you are to humanity, the sessions you give, and the messages and guidance that you've received, I just feel, even though, like, if you're anything like me, which I think you expressed, it's very difficult to, because I've always been shy, it's very difficult to be in the public eye. Like, it makes me so uncomfortable. Almost it makes me more insecure. Like, who am I to be? I'm not saying that that's the same for you, but I'm just wanting to validate or express that I feel that your art will be in galleries that people will walk around, and you'll have your own secluded place, in case, as an empath, you need that. But this stands the test of time, and you could take that with anybody. So I didn't mean to even bring myself up. And I almost, guys, I have to admit, and I would never want to cancel, but I just got back from a huge trip and I have a little bit of a head cold, even though I'm like working it out, but I want to show up at my best, especially when I talked. Well, it's not especially, but I mean, I'm especially honored and grateful to be in your presence, Joan. And I didn't want to let you down by showing up like this sleep deprived. Like, I just got off of all these flights and travel because, spike proteins and this and that. So it means so much to me. But I, would love to go back to just seeing the images of Neil and you.
absolutely. I want you to see the images. Actually, oh yeah, here's a couple of cute ones. So it's
Yes.
so interesting. This one is just, I feel very blessed to be working with Portal to Ascension right now because I can see the lifetimes he and I have had together, and this is one of our soul missions. So it's our soul mission together to actually bring these mysteries and sacred teachings around the world. And when you find those people to collaborate with, it's really like being in creative bliss for me. And so ever since I left the desert, by the way, I had a great experience last summer. I called in a ship up in Joshua Tree, and then I actually moved from the desert a few weeks later. But it triggered, I think when I saw you in Disclosure Fest is right after I had that UFO ET experience, and it opened me up to a lot of this new art. And I have interdimensional places as well on a different series. This is my series of what I'm offering for people, the soul activation. I'm calling it, activate your soul mission activation. I'm in the middle of creating a course and then a new book about soul mission activations. But the point being to finally have clarity, like have your instructions for what you're supposed to be doing now and how.
No kidding.
And why? Like,
well, I mean, divine purpose is everything right now, because everything is trying to steer people into a false narrative to generate artificial timelines, which needs to steal energy and siphon life force based on people
right.
falling into a divide and conquer if they think they're awake but don't realize they're doing it, or people that are literally being indoctrinated through the news to the point where they're going to subject their children to it. And this is breaking down that so people can connect to the true codes of creation that unlock the dormant strands of our DNA and turn junk into the remembrance that these are the higher harmonic universes based in integration and polarity. So these are the kind of activations you give off.
Yes. When I look at this painting, which came through once we confirmed the trip to Egypt, and I just was asking my Egyptian connections, when I feel the essence of this painting, it's hard for me to be worried about things that are happening on the 3D level.
Oh shit, right? I mean,
okay, I am that Egyptian goddess here, and that goes through me. We can, to get through these coming times, we have to embrace a higher vision of our self, Laura. We actually have to know without a shadow of a doubt that we have a soul mission. We are connected. We are doing what we're being told to do by our guides. We committed to this. And we have to be 100% committed to the vision of who we are and where we're going. Because
Absolutely.
otherwise, they'll subject us to the lesser, the lower inferior vision, and we won't be able to get to where we're going.
Well, it's like the aspect of free will that we have is what frequency are you choosing through the words you speak, through the intention you hold.
Right.
And there are options. To me, the 5G is if you're indoctrinated and whatever you've consumed, we've all consumed things through geoengineering, chemtrails, and how everything's been contaminated, and even picking up on spike proteins. Oh, whoops, I can't mention this on my channel. I don't give up. So when the frequency is higher, you're the 5D, you're the override frequency, you're the advanced technology. So your focus on the angelics, everything that has come through you has been that override frequency to remind people, which crushes those artificial timelines. And yeah, you might think you're surveilling us to mess with us. No, we are looking down and seeing what you're doing, not
Right.
in a right. And it's not in an invasive way or harmful way, because your angelic embodiment to me reminds me of the unconditional love of creation that will welcome any soul that is going to stop messing with people and manipulating them because either their hands are tied, they've been blackmailed, or they're just a product of MK Ultra. The unconditional love of the angelics on a human level, on a grounded level, like you're bringing it into a very grounded place, I feel can redeem these souls because they'll realize their mother again. You know what I mean?
That's very, very profound. How do we reclaim these parts of ourselves or even this part of humanity? Shamanic work is reclaiming pieces of our soul. And as a human race, all those people are people of our souls or part of that extended unified field. So waking up and then remembering, but also claiming it in times where we're being attacked, like we are now, is really, really important. Getting reinforcement that you're not crazy. So one of the things that always happens in my soul awakening sessions is that people will say, how did you know? Well, I didn't consciously know, but your guides want me to know. And so they'll tell me, or they'll show me, the purpose being because they want you to finally see yourself with clear vision. Because all hands on deck now. We need every soul awakened to their mission, to their full potential, without even wavering. Because once that waver happens, then we're stuck, because that's when doubt interferes.
Right. That's dropping into that lower frequency that is transmitted through fake news, indoctrination in school systems, Hollywood, the underbelly and dark side of it. I'm not saying it's all dark with all the different things mentioned, but that drop in consciousness, awareness, and frequency and intention, where all of a sudden a person is like, oh yeah, I need to smear, I need to be in battle zone or negative ego, or they're just regurgitating what they learned that might have been indoctrinated, or emulating some sort of distortion that came through Hollywood, or bought into some sort of fake news that and this is what I just love about you, because you purify that and you create this override frequency that creates an activation that appreciates what you embody, but also awakens the angelics within all souls. So this is one of my I know it's like tear jerky, not tear jerky stuff, but
I've been told
this is one of, and I knew this was going to be awesome. I'm not trying to compare it to anything, but this is one of my favorite interviews because you really have that down. And I love, it's so my grandmother's name was Joan, right?
Oh, you
And
didn't tell me
Joan
that.
of Arc Energy, and then you're Joan of Angels. And knowing you for this long and going through a lot of BS, you're one of the most non-judgmental and loving people that in a time at one of the conferences, I don't need to name it. Okay, fine. I think it's somewhere in LA. Okay, that's enough. You sat down with me and you literally said something to me that I've reflected on ever since, that have helped me overcome a very traumatic time in my life. I mean, the trauma times, they're all stacked up, but I don't feel like a victim. But you said something to me at that particular conference that has stuck with me ever since, and was a huge source of my ability to transcend a very dark sort of downward spiral of not making sense out of it. And
I understand.
yeah, and
That's
I know I'm
profound.
overly talking here, so sorry, you guys.
No, that's profound. This is
No,
because
but you
you had a
did. You
personal
said
encounter.
something I still replay in my head, that when I get triggered, and I admit, I mean, but not like bad triggered, but it was you that said something that I refer to that helps me get over that hump. It's
Sweet.
amazing.
Oh my God, no wonder you're kind of teary. Also, Joan means gift of God. God is gracious. And
That's my favorite
sometimes,
my granny, like, sorry, but I didn't
yeah,
mean to interrupt. I'm going to remove myself so I don't interrupt. I just
I
get
just
really
love
pumped up
her.
about people like you. Okay. But yeah, Joan, like, talk about that. Yeah.
Okay, so I do have a soul mission, and I know that I help people feel better about themselves. I can't help it. It's something that I have inside, that I see souls and friends or people, and I want them to leave feeling better about who they are and why they're here. I did it as a chiropractor, and the funniest part is I had this. I would do these neck adjustments with my patients, and they'd sit in the chair, and I'd adjust them, and I'd say, "We just turned on your power." And then I realized I was doing this in the readings that I was doing. We've just turned on your power. We are activating your frequency. And I realized that that's what I do. And there is a tool that I teach to turn on, actually to activate your angelic frequency. But I want to suggest a tool that I teach and use a lot with myself and my clients. Number one, I really like to get in a state of neutrality. Honestly, I'm a nervous wreck half the time. I have my own anxieties and fears. Some days I could barely live in this body, but I have learned to take myself out to a state of neutrality. Once I'm in a state of neutrality, and I'm holding my hand up here because it's like being in a mountaintop. Okay, I have a little cave I've carved out up there. I take my clients, I'll take Laura, whoever I'm working with, up there, and we're looking out at we're looking down from the mountaintop at the planet. Okay, we're looking at the roadblocks you might be going through, the traffic jams. Heck, you can even see where things like the history of what's about to happen in our country is over here. Everything is laid out, 2020 laid out. We're sitting up here, and we can start to look at the purpose, like the big picture of how things are unfolding, so we can get a handle on our own emotions. That's the first thing. That's what my guide said to me. "Joan, you're here for a reason, and if you're not going to do it, move over. We'll bring someone else in who has the big wings." Okay, I almost lost my job. But what I do teach, and I do this on Monday nights. I have a show every Monday, Miracle Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific on YouTube. And I help you create the Tower of Miracle Power. That's what I call it. And we actually launch this tower of light so it becomes radiant. And then it connects to Tower of Lights across the planet. Okay? Across the planet, like threading a needle, to have that high angel, angelic, celestial frequency that can then trickle down upon the planet.
Well, when I said tower, I wasn't joking. 5D tower over 5G is the activation of the angelics, the truth that is spoken, the art that is created. That's all. Well, the fifth house is the house of Leo. The fifth element is the ether, and the fifth chakra is the voice, right? So when you voice these things, you manifest them because of the Mercury magician archetype, right? And you're a living example of somebody who is never given up, and your consistency for the last, well, your whole life, when it came to the point where you're going to verbalize this thing, this mission, and communicate it to people like me. And I missed that email that I saw. It's like, all right, that's my little 2 cents right now. So keep going with what you're saying, though. It's really cool.
I'm sharing my little secret. So that's what we do. We actually collectively work to heal our bodies. And that's another thing. these bodies of ours are so precious, even though, we call it a bodysuit. Well, as long as it's going to be, you're going to walk around in these bodies, let's do our best to keep them working well and wiggle our fingers and bring our life force energy. And so, one thing I love to do also is bring energy from the top down through our crown, through our body, through our neck, wiggle your fingers with life force, rub your hands together and really start to experience your own profoundness. So I'm just happy to share this work with you and share other aspects of waking up. But I will go back to be one of the chosen ones, you must choose. And I used to go to psychics a lot when I was younger.
Brilliant. If you're going to be one of the chosen ones, you have to choose.
We have to choose.
All right, well, keep going, right?
So I used to go to a lot of psychics when I was younger, and they would say to me, Joan, you should be on this side of the table. You're psychic. And so I used to go, and this is for all of you out there. I used to go, oh, whoa, look at me, I'm psychic. And I would be like, oh, I'm psychic, and think that it was my ego was running this. Not that I practiced as a psychic. I just was egoic. That was very
short-lived. Well, you had to iterate it on an ego level, right? I went to clairvoyant institutes and was told I was psychic and this and that. But I had to identify it with it enough. And when I don't, I go into self-doubt, even to the point where my own husband, I'm like, you're sure? So I'll shut up, but I really relate to what you're saying in my own weird way. And I want to hear the rest of what you're saying, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get it. And so first of all, the idea that I'm getting information about someone from somewhere, from this universal consciousness, took me a long time to really trust, because, I'd get this little phrase. In the beginning, it began like a little choo-choo train in front of me that would have a word like butterfly. Now, butterfly didn't mean anything to me, but it meant something to my client. And I had to learn to trust this little choo-choo train. It was like a little train at first, a little thread going right like this. And if I didn't catch it, it was gone.
And so, like I think I can, and like, that's all like.
No. Anyway, if I missed it, I missed it.
Right. Anyway, keep going though. This is a greater book.
If I didn't pay attention, I was doomed. And so I learned, then they trained me to say the word, to say what I was seeing. And I really discovered my own gift as that, because it's in the listening. But what I'm pointing out was then I've become a servant. That gift is not for me to just sit and go, look, I'm psychic. That gift is for me to share with people.
Because you're in service to others. You're not a servant as in being enslaved kind of servant. It's like a conscious decision to be in service to others with the greatest gifts and abilities that you hold. Yes. I mean,
and so it is.
It's always different than being just used for your gifts and abilities, where people are like, it's the same people that stay stuck in very abusive situations. I mean, no partner I've ever been with, I didn't on some level fall in love with. But when they're being like, I don't want to overly state the adjectives I could come up with. Anyway, I just love you so much. Okay, I know we probably should close the show, and I hope you'll do more of these with me. But what have we not been able to cover that is really important that we cover? And I've, shared some of the links. I'm going to put it in the description, but end on this note with us. What did we not share? Where did you feel maybe cut off that you want to bring it back around to where you can leave us with everything that matters to you to share with us tonight?
Sweet. Thanks. So, my whole life I've really trained. I've taken this mission very seriously. Those angels that woke me up when I was in my 30s and said I was here to heal and inspire, they're the same angels, by the way, that are probably trying to wake you up too, and that are trying to remind you who you are and why you're here and that you have a purpose. And I would say that once I've embraced my purpose, once I even got out of my way and said, okay, so I'm Joan of Angels. That's a little embarrassing. Dr. Hangarter was a lot easier to deal with than Joan of Angels. But once I put myself out of the way and I said, yes, bring me more, what I've discovered is that I'm being guided on a path of soul awakening that is helping other people too, because as I awaken to my own gifts and I use them and I share them. Okay. I got out of the closet so I can share them. Then the people I share them with, they turn around and feel good about who they are, and they share their gifts. Once they share their gifts, then they can start waking up those people who've been waiting for you to wake up. And so it is, we pay it forward. We have something like 7 or 8 billion people on the planet, billions of people to wake up, to remember that we can have a quality of life here. We can be awake, we can be aware, we can live our dreams, we can live our soul purpose. And that is really, I made a commitment. I've been told this. I had a regression on the ships one day, and I was told that, I was reminded that I made a commitment, not one soul shall be lost. And I take it really seriously. I just take it really seriously. I couldn't do it any other way.
I made that similar statement. I said, so keep going. Yeah. It's like,
well, that's why
I almost overly relate to you. It's like, I'm reassured and more inspired than ever talking to you. Okay.
Be reassured. And everyone out there, these angel guides are real as our star family, as real as our departed loved ones. There is a collective universal consciousness, and what they're trying to do is have us believe it and have us set our sights on the 5th dimensional frequencies and below and above. Next time I'll show you the interdimensional art, or actually I'm going to be showing that at Portal to Ascension on the Ultimate Star Beings Conference coming up next week. You guys can go to portaltoascension.org and find that conference. But I'll be showing what it's like to travel in those interdimensional realms. This is our way through the most difficult of times that we have here on the planet. It is not going to be human will that dissolves the controls, that awakens those who have been imprisoned in those mind control games. What's going to awaken them is angelic frequencies. Absolutely. And us remembering that we love them anyway, that these are our soul family. Even if they've forgotten, we don't have to get too close, but we can send them love as we circle around the planet, and we can hold this frequency of collectively we're lifting the planet to where we want it to be. Yeah. And I'm a piece of that puzzle.
Very beautifully. Yeah. I mean, it just brings in so much that is in alignment with what you said. And it was just shared so beautifully. But I just, want to share in my own words, based on the inspiration you just shared and like epiphanies that I've had so many times, even though I might just, lose connection with it for a second and just be like, But no matter how in prison you are, whether it's a prison sentence, whether it's being trapped in a relationship, whether it's being stuck to a job, a physical ailment on a mental, emotional, or whatever level, but especially physical, where they're going to say it's cancer, or it's MS, or it's this or that, or Lyme's disease. I mean, we need to let that be initiatory to be able to activate that angelic part of our DNA that proves that spirit holds dominion over physical matter. And if we can get to a frequency within our own mind and consciousness, we can transmute it and alchemize it and heal it. And your work really embodies that and reminds us of it. And how you bridge the chiropractic into all that. Yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful we did this tonight, today, whatever, depending on your time zone. For some people, they're like, the roosters are making their noise. But anyway, I love you so much, Joan of Angels, Archangels, Joan of Arc, and everything in between.
This has
been really cool to know you for as long as we have. It's like, and the fact that we can say it's been about a decade. It's pretty cool.
Right?
I know, right? It's like, when I'm like, isn't it cool? Some people are like, yeah, we grew up together. I'm like, I don't know. I've lost touch with those kind of people, but okay. Yeah. Your final notes, and please close the show. Thank you everybody for tuning in. This is a live show, so check back within the next 24 hours. You will see her website and what she does.
Sweet.
One-on-one with people. And I'm sorry, people, oh my God. So final words.
Final words. Okay. I'm going to send Laura information on how you can get your own soul essence paintings and soul awakening sessions so you can find them. You can also check out the website. You can get a free ebook on living your soul mission, which is where it all starts, which is where waking up begins. You can check me out on YouTube. I have my show every Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific. We love that show. I'm very grateful for that show. I'm very grateful for each and every one of you because we get together on Miracle Mondays. And what do you think we do? We raise that miracle frequency. Everyone leaves feeling healed, whole, inspired, ready to start their week. And I'm addicted to that show, just so you know.
Oh my God. It's the best kind of addiction. I'm super addicted to everything as cool and awesome as this. And it's a healthy addiction between you and me because, and with all of you, I mean, this is when addict turns into I dictate my reality because I'm a co-creator of the Organic Ascension timeline. And thank you,
Yes.
Joan, for being such an angel and spreading the wings for everybody to remember their angelic truth and potential. I just love you. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Really
Laura,
enjoyed
thank you
so
so much, love. We're just going to leave here now. Is that it? I guess so.
Well, yeah, but this is one of many. Like, this is part one.
Perfect. All right. I love you so much.
Okay, totally.
I've always loved you since I saw you and your essence, and I'm happy to be on the show. And I feel like this is just the beginning.
Absolutely, it is. So when I put it in the description, it's alive. So it's going to take me check back in about 24 hours. And then you'll probably see the preview or premiere of part 2 with Joan of Angels.
All right.
The Joan of Archangels and one of the kindest and most beautiful women and souls. And shout out to Portal to Ascension and Neil Gar and all the adventures that we have in this year ahead. And everybody for tuning in. Remember that your angelicness is ready to switch on. Okay.
All right. We'll see you all next time, guys. We're going to see you on the Galactic Origins panel on YouTube 11/2.
Second, right?
Right. All right, guys. Love you to the moon